downfall. My love, if you feel like I do right now, don't say you're on the run to the other side. My love, you say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. You say you want
It's a brand new season of CGL.
This is just an absolute treat. These players are so damn good.
The talent on these teams is undeniable. Everybody on every team right now is making plays.
It's going to be an exciting start to the season, and it'll just get better from here on out.
We're about to step to a whole new era of Overwatch esports. So much exciting action is happening here on CGL that you do not want to miss.
Look who's starting it all off, it's Raven. No one necessarily figure out what is the right way to go just yet.
What a nice roll through! It's just gonna solidify everything within those.
Does come back, and Arsario gets the mech, but I don't need a mech. I'll kill 4 anyway.
This is just a highlight reel for Arsario right now.
They're making a statement in the EU Masters here.
This patch is still incredibly fresh. There's so much to learn, so much to change about the way we play the game.
NKC, but the shatter is colossal.
Let's get it going.
Trades keep coming through. Lores, you're gonna be able to find these shots true.
Idu on the overclock with 2.
Here comes an Amplify, immediately goes back to fine skills, slicing and dicing their way through 2, 3, so back and forth.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the end of the mid-season tournament here in CGL Season 15. We've got 2 more matches here on the NA side of this tournament. Agave Foxtails and Amplify first up to bring us to the conclusion of the NA Open tier.
I mean, I don't think we can see this any other way. Fletch, these two teams have been pretty dominant, arguably, through most of this open half of the year. And, I mean, considering the bangers of matches we've had linking up to this across the mid-season tournaments, can't think of a better way to kick this off, because this is guaranteed to be an incredible match when you look at it on paper.
Like I referenced, it's not going to be the only one today on CGL 2, or, maybe CGL 1 coming up here. Depending on how fast this match goes. We'll have the conclusion of the NA Diamond tier with Solar Eclipse versus Cuddle Puddle to bring that one. Winners of these tournaments each get another win tacked onto their entire season total. So very, very important for postseason seeding. Why don't we look through this bracket to see how we've gotten to this final?
Yeah, because this is, and realistically, this is a pretty wild open bracket between teams like Amplify, Daily Ducks, and even the Vicious Org, which has seen so much success in multiple tiers of CGL here over the past year or so. Like, it's just kind of wild to think that these are the teams that made it through. Amplify arguably had a little bit of like an easier path, only having to fight through Team Vex. We were talking about this though, but it was a well-fought like 5 mapper for Team Vex. So. I think the question, at least we're looking at for this, is like, Amplify, we know them. They are the team that came out of BPL to take OWCS by storm. But do they really have what it takes to compete in a place like CGL?
Yeah, that's the question everybody's asking. I will say, looking at this bracket, the one thing that surprises me the most is that Dill Ducks lost. That was my runner-up for the NA Open, so... a little bit sad to see them having gone out early, but as we get prepared to head into this match, we do know what our first map is going to be. It's always pre-decided in these bracket stages, right? We've got round 3 of this tournament going to be Ilios coming up here. What are you feeling about Ilios here, Soav?
Look, it's not Lijiang Tower, so I'm just straight up number 1 happy to see it. But number 2, I think Ilios is one of those maps that really does kind of force the teams to play a little bit more flexibly across all 3 of the sub-maps, right? Like, so, when you get to Ruins, you really have to kind of check to see, do you have your mid to long range hit scans? Do you have your close range fighters? How's your brawl comp looking? Because that space is very minimal and that well is very dangerous. So I do think Ilios, being this late in the tournament is a great place to kind of really put these teams to the test in the final leg.
Yep, could not agree more. Real quick, we are going to get a look at our Tank matchup here. You know, only one per each team. Hee Boink on the left for Agave Foxtails versus Gap on the side of Amplify, repping, you know, the OWCS right now. So, I mean, Amplify is always going to be a scary team to go up against if you're coming in here. Strangely enough, they are the team that has a loss this season. All the way back in week 1, it was a 3-1 loss to Mental Institution. Yep. But, you know, we're looking here. Statistically, in most places, it's going to be Gap taking the cake here. The only one that's not as dominant is going to be that final blows per 10. But to be honest with you, I don't often see Mauga getting a lot of, you know, it doesn't do exactly that much burst damage.
Yeah.
Right? So he's not landing those final blows as much as something like an Orisa with that spear. Her headshots are painful. But what I'm looking at is half as many deaths per 10 for Gap. That is a ridiculous number. And honestly, what I'd expect from a tank as talented as Gap is.
Yeah, I mean, well, the other number that stands out almost as much, I would say, is the damage per 10. You know, Hee Boink has 5 numbers there. 13, almost double of what Gap is. And that tells me that Amplify, and Gap in particular, is more like keen to play the edges, play that safe spaces where he's not necessarily just going to take damage, you know, and just like worry about his healers forced, you know, to sit there and keep him up. Whereas Hee Boink, like, maybe is playing a little bit more aggressively, maybe is a little bit more reliant on the healers to keep him up. So, you know, a little bit of more self-sustainability, obviously, within Mauga, but just the raw number of like pure damage less taken also tells me that there's a difference where these tanks want to play in position. Amplify more likely to kind of spring on you when they see you in their trap, as opposed to Agave Foxtails, who are going to bring the fight to you.
Yeah, and you know what? Yeah, that'd probably do it, right? If you're running at people, you're gonna take more damage. That's just how it is. Unfortunately, speaking of damage, it seems like the servers over at Blizzard have taken a little bit of their own. Battle.net appears to be down. The players on Amplify can't seem to get into the lobby, try as they might. So we're going to cut to a break. Hopefully, we'll have some good news regarding the Battle.net servers when we come back. So stick around. I expect this match to be a great one.
Yeah.
Yo. Cash and the ticket is yours. Cash and the ticket is yours. Yo. Cash and the ticket is yours.
Cash and the ticket is yours. Cash and the ticket is yours. Yo. Cash and the ticket is yours. Yours. Got lots of love. Love. 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 Got lots of love. Love.
All right, welcome back, everyone. We do apologize about the extended delay. You know, those game servers always rather unpredictable, but we are through the thick of it. We are just about ready to go. So, it was about what, half hour.
About a
we
half
we
hour.
get through it. We do know what our first map's going to be, though, and you know we talked about it a little bit already. It's Ilios.
Yeah, we've got Ilios in. We still are waiting for some bans to come in as well. So, you know, hey, it's one of those things where, you know, I do actually kind of, this is one of the things I was thinking about, right? Like, Amplify kind of got to do these bans a little bit earlier. You know, maybe they've been paying attention, but the Foxtails have the first ban. So, we'll see what they choose to do. If, you know, because it's always interesting to see if they choose to do something safe, you know, or if they choose to look for something that's like, you know, more targeted. A lot of people are, you know, taking away things like a Pharah that they don't know right away. So really interested to see what they pick. I mean, like, if you really want to hit a team hard here, you kind of might go for something like a Lucio, a Pharah, if you know they have a one trick, or even in the case of like Amplify, you might even take away the Malga.
Yeah, I don't know that the Malga is exactly the right place to ban, or Ilios is the right place to ban Malga at the moment. I do think that is certainly something that Agave's got to think about.
Yeah.
Right. Ilios, you're gonna be thinking about more of the oh, that's a number. Hi guys.
That's a
number
number.
one. We love Winston.
It's the number one ban.
Yeah. So, you know, you're thinking about a Winston. You're thinking about. Okay, you were talking about it. It's gonna be the Pharah.
Pharah, yeah.
She's gone. Cannot be banned anymore this set. So maybe a target ban, maybe just something to, you know, maybe they're protecting a DPS right now. Not really sure at the moment, but
I mean, when you consider that Pharah has really gotten a lot of play since the perks came in, and this is probably one of those bigger places for Pharah. Between like Ruins, you can get away with her a lot if you don't want to play a long range hit scan. I actually don't hate that. Amplify on the other side though, I don't really like. I was kind of mulling it over. I'm not totally sure what you're gonna kind of try to force away here. Like, it's just kind of fair. Again, this is kind of the tough point of map 1. Like, unless you've really been watching the feed, you don't really know what to take away.
Yeah, it's always going to be a little bit rougher. I agree on map 1s, right? I don't think that this ban is going to have too much of an impact on the game, if I'm being honest with you, unless possibly like a Wrecking Ball ban. You know, Agave does
They're
like
very
to go
targeted,
toward
yeah.
that Wrecking Ball. You know, it could be a good shout for Ilios, you know, a dive heavier map to get rid of that comfort pick. And it's actually going to be Winston by Amplify. So, you know, going the same direction that I was expecting, not the hero I was expecting to do it with. So, if I'm being honest with you, I think that especially without Gap in the lineup, it's going to be, you know, maybe a hazard pick, or maybe they even go to a Wrecking Ball of their own.
Yeah, like the Winston is definitely the safest. Diva is still pretty strong here in a lot of regards. We're seeing a lot less of her. But, you know, like with Pharah also out, that kind of also makes me believe we have less of a reason to pick her. But we do have those opening lineups like you had pointed out. And like you said, Gap is going to be not available. We're going to look at the Foxtails first. Between Gromit, Sabita Fan, Hee Hee Boink, Learn, and Pokey Mini Me. Like, I'm actually kind of interested that, you know, Garissa has kind of fallen off. But we were looking at the tank matchup earlier. I'm kind of interested that we chose the Winston there instead of something a little bit more ground pound based like the Orisa, like a Ramatra. So I'm really, I'm wondering if that is a concern. Maybe they're not used to playing against dives, or maybe they're not feeling as strong against that. I have to imagine that, I have to imagine like the Winston is just like a pressure point for them.
Yeah, I mean, I think Agave are, you know, a very, very flexible team here in this tier. You know, they can play a lot of stuff. They do like the Junker Queen, some of those other rush tanks. But on the other side, speaking of tanks, you know, we already said it a couple of times. Amplify not going to have their main starter, right? It's going to be Winter, Crazy Cat on the DPS, Solo Zen on the tank rather than Gap, and then Consequence and Ewan in the back line. So, you know, it's kind of a Frankenstein of the Amplified teams that we have seen recently. kind
I
of
mean-
cobbled together off of players who, sometimes players just
Yeah.
don't play.
I mean,
We're
also
missing
Fletch
phone.
Crazy Cat's not a DPS player typically. Let's remember
Yeah.
that too. So like this is a, whether it because of these issues with the servers, or whether just because like maybe they're dedicating more resources into OWCS right now. Maybe there's some, things we don't know behind the scenes. But like this is kind of an odd situation for them to be in because they have two of their off support players now picking up some of these off roles.
Yeah, not a comfortable position at all. This is, not exactly the team that, got all the way to the OWCS, but we will get to see what they are going to be attempting here to get this mid-season championship as we get ready to start on Ilios well. I would not be surprised that if any of these maps we are going to see Agave play the Orisa, this would probably be a decent shout. I do like to dive a little bit more, but with the well being, right in the middle of the point in Orisa trying to control all of that ground and all that space, so that's not what that's not the team I
that's not what
expected to
you
see
expected,
Orisa
yeah.
for.
That's not what you thought. I mean, Boink coming out on the Diva, when you talk about like the dive tanks, like this is kind of the number 1 to 2 choice, like between either Winston or Diva. I don't know that you're really, again, I guess you're playing a little bit more defensive, but like solo Zen picking up the Orisa, I don't know that that's like a super, I feel like that has to be just closer to comfort. Never mind, we're gonna get a pause in. So, like, I have to guess that that's closer just to comfort for the general team level. Like, if it's a team that's used to playing around Orisa, it's a lot slower to play around the Orisa too. You can kind of play a little bit more solid, slow up the game to kind of make sure you hit your shots and get your all full value of your abilities. So, it might be a little bit of, just making sure that things can kind of be at a slower pace to go their way for Amplify.
You tired of waiting as much as I am?
Yeah, man, dude. I just want to see this open finals banger, dude. Like I want it. Give it to me. Come on.
So basically, Ewan is dead.
Yep.
Shot down in the streets of Vancouver. I don't know. We don't know what's happening. Ewan has to restart their game. So
and they
we'll
made
be
it,
back
and
soon.
I mean, considering there was
Hopefully.
a 10-minute wait time, I think, when I checked the servers. So we'll see if maybe that time lessened, but we may be waiting for a little while.
Okay, well, Ewan's back in.
Okay, so it looks like we're good. Excellent. I love that for us.
Yep. All right. Well, not exactly what we expected, but nonetheless, we persist. Amplify Agave Foxtails.
Play the 4.
Finally going to get started here.
There we go.
All right.
Kiriko's make sense. Kiriko's make sense to me here. It's a lot
Always.
more self-sustaining. Well, you do like the Juno in a comp like the Orisa, but I do think given the bans and kind of what we've seen here, like the Kiriko just has a lot of pick value, which at this high level just makes more sense.
All right, here we go. Ilios, well, Grommet looking for an opportunity to get in there. Amplify playing very, very safe in this cage. Orisa not too scared to do so here. And speaking of not too scared, absolutely walking down Hee Boink there. Winter under a lot of pressure here, has to back out, try and get back to the supports, get that healing. Gonna bail back around the backside. Hee Boink flipping to turn on this Tracer. That mech very, very low, but without Ewan, that's a lot of engage gone for the side of Foxtails, but Hee Boink no longer has a mech, so could possibly try to head in here?
I mean, you've already got control if you're the Foxtails, so it's just kind of at this point to make sure you contest and get a lot of people playing from behind, so it's getting all the value and as much as you can is good. Maybe even get a pick like that, but the pulse bomb will turn it back.
Hee Boink's still not in mech either. Will finally go down in the end, consequence getting that final blow. But all things considered, milking almost 25% off of this point in the end, and they're still going. They're gonna get to 40, maybe 50 here.
That's huge. Like Amplify just never really could just get anybody down realistically. That's the thing about the Foxtails comp right now. It's a very movable high sustain comp, so really to collapse on anybody like Amplify wants to do is hard. They all have movement abilities. Ewan has one, so that makes sense.
Early Kitsune rush from Consequence, and Elrin gonna throw it out, but Crazy Cat just turns Soida into a puddle of water, melted there, and that'll force an immediate bail from Agave.
I mean, yeah, you're not taking that. There's no...
Whoa!
I was just about to say, there's no point to commit anything else into this, but Gromit decided otherwise.
Yeah, well, Sound Barrier is the answer to the Terra Surge. Don't want to lose anybody else, but now Ewan gets the later beat, so that tankiness going to be in the favor of Amplify. As Agave Foxtails, they just can't find any way to get in. That self-destruct is going to come out, not going to find anything. I doubt that they expected it would. Soida ban. Soida fan with this Pulse Bomb could throw it into this Orisa for sure. That's an excellent target. Excellent kill.
I mean, this is a scrappy fight. Crazy Cat finds one and Winter follows up with a second. This is just such a scrappy fight. I feel like Foxtails, you know, after a while, we're just kind of throwing fire into the fodder, like throwing more fodder into it. But Amplify only gained from it. 75% means we're coming down to one fight, and swaps in now. Boink going over to the Zarya is very late. You're not going to get grabbed for this last fight, and considering Liren has Kitsune Rush as their only thing coming up, and it's met by consequences, like it's just going to come down to this kind of a neutral fight here, or who uses their Kitsune first, whoever gets the most value out of it.
Crazy Cat goes it down, so an opportunity here for Agave Foxtails. One bubble in the hands of Hee Hee. Boink as overtime begins, throws it out on Pokey Mini Me. Beautiful. Ewan answers with one of their own, but the time continues to go. The flip comes through, and Agave are not done.
Not for now. 50% climbing, but Amplify only need to win one fight to close it out. They have a sound barrier up, and Solo Zen will have there'll be a pull there as well in the Terra Surge. Its late pick could be huge, so Beat a Fan does find one. So Foxtails, I mean, that buys them a little more time. But like I said, sound barrier coming up. Solo Zen is going to have Terra Surge. They need to get past Pokemon-Mi's sound barrier first, but you know, just kind of looking at what's on paper here, it's going to be a bit of a toss-up because Gromit can just sit in the back and, in theory, get some value with these rails. So I'm really watching them to kind of be the decider.
Pokemon can't take too many of those, however, able to escape Crazy Cat. As we're going to hear the overclock and now see the overclock from Gromit thrown back into the wall. This Orisa under a lot of duress. That Fortify is very, very good at deterring, and no slide in the hands.
Wow.
Pokemon just Ajax.
Yep.
Oh no, and that is going to cost Agave the entire round.
Yeah. Look, that was a close round, and considering the decider was a certified Ajax, like I think that's the only way you really get a solid answer out of it. Once Mini-Me missed that sound barrier, it was just over. That was their only way they were going to sustain in that longer fight, considering it was the later sound barrier. So call it greed, call it unfortunate timing, but you know, Pokemon-Me just unfortunately, not to say that they cost them that, because there was a lot of things that happened there, but that was just the unfortunate kind of nail in the coffin for that well point. But over here now on Lighthouse, Boink going to stay on the Zarya, which makes sense. Crazy Cat considering the Ash as well, and Consequence looking for the Juno. Yeah, I actually do think, I don't even hate the Baptiste here. I kind of still think Juno is just naturally stronger if you're going to look for a different option. But I mean, Kiriko and Cleanse is just still so strong considering what's out on the field. I think you kind of need that. It just makes sense here. Boink Zarya, I think, is going to make the difference here. Now that you're seeing it for a full round, it could possibly allow for a little bit more of those bubbles, and the charge, the extra damage coming out, can make the difference here.
All right, Gromit fails from the fight with Crazy Cat, but Crazy Cat has the ability to deal damage from around the corners, unfortunately for the Sojourn. Solo Zen very, very comfortable on the point, whether alone or not at the moment, but does need to eventually find some help here. Does have Consequence, though, behind them. Crazy Cat still on the high ground, looking for some shots. Sees the Lucio, hits the Lucio. The Lucio runs away, and Agave will have to regroup and figure out what they want here. Oh, wow. I guess they found it.
They found 2 picks. That's what they wanted. They're still trying to find a third. Yeah, now they should be able to push back in, but it's going to be tough with that, with both of those supports down for the Foxtails to really get any kind of work done for the long term here. Thankfully, Zarya is there to kind of clean it up. I mean, there should just be a full regroup, right? There should just be a full regroup.
Looks like Ewan was just stuck in a locker, though.
Yeah. Just shoved in that locker.
Okay, wow.
What on earth? I mean,
messy.
I mean, I mean, the Foxtails are just look. Foxtails are now just pushing up. They recognize if they can just get in the face of Amplify, who wants to play slower, they win this. This Orisa is so slow.
I mean, Boink is just farming charge right now, like reckless abandon into these bubbles, and that's not exactly what you want to see if you're an Orisa, right? Like that spear spin does nothing. Okay, Boink just hits their head on the bottom of the Orisa. And Solozen looking toward this Zarya, not building the charge as much as they were previously. Throwing that spear right into the Zarya bubble, and that is the charge. I just had to say something for a moment now. No Fortify, no spear spin. A Graviton Surge ready to go. Terra Surge coming out from the other side. Won't even need the grab. Does not matter in the end. The kills are all in the way of Agave.
I mean, it makes sense. You kind of pointed it out earlier that Boink is just fearless. We saw that in the stats earlier too, and Boink is just not afraid to just run in as Zarya and just trust that their healers have got it. Look at how deep Boink he's playing. He almost gets that pick there. Look at how deep he's playing. They're buying past the 75% mark, and they still have this Graviton Surge. It's gonna have to get used, I think, defensively versus this Bob though, because Bob is gonna get stalled to touch the point here. So this grab has to find value when Bob comes out.
And they force Zolozen onto the Zarya now. There's a grab ready to go here for Boink. Bob will touch the point, so a little bit of stress there. You're going to need to stay on. Grab is out from Boink.
That's so
and
high.
It's just such a good one because it locks them in a place where they can't play defensively. They can't do anything. No bubbles are going to save them. They're surrounded. And Agave Foxtails are just going to run away with Lighthouse.
I mean, I hate to say it like this, but it is a bit of a matchup. It's a bit of a matchup diff, as we call it in the biz here. What a Pulse does manage to live through the bubble. Well, good stick, better bubble, but I mean, it is just a bit of a matchup diff. Like you said, the Zarya into the Orisa is just miles and miles better when you are getting so much charge. Your beam does not care about that spear spin, and even if you opted into the shield, like, the Zarya will burn that down. So Boink and the Agave Foxtails here just kind of won that on the correct choices, and good on them for recognizing what they need to do to win. You might hate counter picking, but it does win you matches.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen with like Hanbin recently, right? The guy's a freak of nature in general, but you know, has proven that Zarya is still incredibly useful and usable, I should say. And Boink holds the same opinion. You know, we've seen Boink play the Zarya before, so it's not a surprising outcome that he looks really damn good on the Zarya, because you know they're undefeated for a reason, right? They're 4-0. So as we come into this final submap here on Ilios, we're going to see the mirror matchup here. Finally, a 100% mirror. We'll see if Solozen can keep up with Boink on this Zarya. We get into the fight. Crazy Cat trying to find a target with the and Grommet just gets it done from a long way out. And Boink is just playing ring around the rosy, but it's okay because they've just got numbers.
I mean, Boink is just hunting. You can kind of tell that the communication is there locked in just by how Boink is just so focused on trying to complete those kills, playing up and making sure he keeps that charge high. Like, that's a team that tells me they know how to play Zarya. They have been practicing this Zarya. And for Amplify, who is unfortunately working in kind of a precarious situation where Solozen, you know, probably their backup tank player, if anything, has to kind of match against that, I hesitate to say that this is, you know, a good spot to be in. Like, you kind of you have to take the mirror because it's the right thing to do, but you have to try to adjust this to win these kinds of flanker duels instead, as opposed to winning head on, because Boink is just going to run you down. He has the full team. He has the full support of his team.
I mean, there's Grommet again. Crazy Cat can't breathe in this Sojourn duel right now. And now Winter and Ewan getting walked down. There will be a jump on the Boink, who's got so much charge. Curious how much Solo Zen's got. Well, definitely way more
Zero.
now, but well, way less now. Just so much damage coming out from this Agave's Foxtail, who, I mean, they're just walking with swagger right now.
I mean, they are feeling themselves. We're just now seeing Amplify getting. They have a pulse bomb. Foxtails across the board on the ultimates are just heads and tails above them. They are already on their full 5, and Amplify can't even. They're just getting sound barrier. The sound barrier is going to get overwhelmed by the sheer number of ultimates on 72%. It's coming into last fight, and Grommet again just opens it up. Grommet's an ace right now.
Grommet is a a puppet, I guess, but a monster.
It's a dog, I suppose.
I mean, but that's just another push wasted for Amplify, and they've only got one more shot. They do have 4 ultimates here, so they need to figure something out with these ultimates. Overclock gonna come down. Ewan needs to find something big. Sound barrier comes down, hits 4 players, landing these shots on the consequence, and even if Grommet goes down, that's the Kitsune Rush out of the fight. Crazy Cat cannot answer when kind here. Kitsune Rush down from Elrin. Nothing to answer it except the bubbles of Solo Zen, and with a grab coming out onto the pillar, there's just nothing Amplify can do.
I mean, that was the Grommet show. Let's be real. Grommet absolutely just closed out Ruins, making sure they opened up almost every single fight on that. And I think that kind of speaks to what worked in their favor and for the most of this, particularly in here and even in Well as also. I mean, Grommet kind of just went uncontested. You should be sending your Lucio at this level to go deal with that. You should be sending your Tracer to make sure that they go contested like that. This is typically why you want to play a dive, is to make sure, you know, your hot shots like Grommet don't have the space to do that. And with Amplify playing this very slower comp and then trying to match the Zarya, I mean, that's basically just free reign for Grommet to just have whatever shots they want open. And we saw it again and again and again. Grommet just continually owned the sightlines.
Yeah, and I even think that there's another factor that let Grommet kind of just have everything for free. And I mean, you look at that tank, you look at Boink. Boink was I can't think of a word. I can't think of a word. He was reckless. That's my he was reckless, but he wasn't dumb.
No,
he was creating so much space just by existing. Bubbles were on point. The charge was never down. It was definitely more noticeable on Lighthouse, right, where Boink was getting a lot more of those kills. But you saw the shift in the paradigm, right, when they went over to the Zarya on Amplify, right? You're not gonna. There's very few times where you can switch to an opponent's composition and beat them. It's just very, very hard to do. And the confidence that Agave was building over the course of that Lighthouse map, and then it snowballed into the Zarya mirror on Ruins, it almost felt like an unwinnable position for Amplify at that point.
I would agree. I mean, I think when you look at how they played that Zarya, it just felt like they were way more practiced in it. Not even just to say that, but like you said, like Boink just absolutely played the role of bait so well. Like you said, he not only put himself in those positions to take all the damage, to draw the attention, it just kind of connected into the whole of the game plan of what the comp does. Zarya draws all the attention, forces, because it's very easy to look at Zarya and think, oh, she's burned both bubbles, we should be able to run this down. No, the support line from the Foxtails, we know that Boink, from our pre-show, takes a ton of damage, but the support line's there, and while the support line is just dealing with making sure they're funneling healing into the tank, who's drawing attention and pulling it away, the DPS line is just there to have their way and do whatever they want. But speaking of have their way, the Foxtails don't have their way. Amplify does. They get the map choice, and it will be Blizzard World. And I don't know that that makes me feel any better because Zarya's still good here too. I think the bans are really going to tell the story, and I think if you are Amplify, you get Zarya, the heck out of here. You get Zarya the heck out of here right now.
You need some momentum. Like,
you need to get rid of her. Period. She's gone.
Like even if they can't get rid of Zarya for the whole series, if they can get rid of Zarya here on Blizzard World, which I agree, she's maybe not the best on A, but on B and C, where you can fight on these. Where you can fight on these, flatter grounds, whether it's on the high ground or the low ground. Zarya's got decent range. That beam goes a lot farther than you would think it does. If you can get Zarya out of here, build some momentum going into the break, going into map number 3, I think that will give Amplify a bit of a spark, right? Because they just need a win. That first map
needs something, yeah.
Was I'll be frank, it was ugly, right? They looked like. And I understand that this is not the Amplified team that is vaunted, right? This is a bit of a nerfed Amplify. They're not playing at their peak. But still, these players are all so damn good. It just sucked to see that the moment that it felt like they knew that they were on the back foot, they just slipped and fell. So they need to find their footing here. If that's getting rid of Zarya, it's getting rid of Brig?
Brig? Okay, well, that does make sense. The backlines here, when you're not worried about contesting point first, does tend to go to a backline bodyguard like Brig. I'm not crazy about that choice. Maybe we're not. Maybe we're assuming we're gonna just go to the full dive and we're trying to cripple a dive piece. I still might be hesitant to say look, let's get rid of that Zarya, but I mean it's not an unreasonable choice. Foxtails on the other side, I don't even know what you're afraid of here. What are you really afraid of?
I think this is just gonna be
it's gonna be like a.
I think it's either gonna be a throwaway ban or you ban Orisa.
I don't. Orisa is probably the best choice. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see another world where they do anything else. I think Orisa would be the only impactful ban here. Everything else.
All right, hear me out. Hear me out, Fletch.
Okay.
Maybe you take. I think you take Sojourn here. I think Sojourn's not a bad pick. You
Really?
know that you. I think you can play the Ashe in the mid range. And I think you are good. I think you can win that. Ashe here has a lot more sightlines. You get more value out of Dynamite. Sojourn really wants a lot more. And she's so you lose a little bit of that freedom in kind of point 3 where you have shorter, more rectangular spaces. I could see getting rid of Sojourn since that's probably something that Amplify, most of the players on Amplify kind of have a thing to play, but it's gonna be Hazard.
Yeah. I mean,
okay.
That was what I thought. I thought it was either the Orisa or Bust.
I
thought you made a good case for Sojourn, but looks like it's Bust, right?
Yeah.
we hit 22. We hit 22. It's Hazard.
I mean, Hazard's still strong. I don't hate that ban out, but when you look at when you have to think of your Agave, what are we afraid of? I don't know.
I mean, nothing
that's
really
probably
on the board.
Yeah, not really anything. I don't think that's a crazy thing to put out. We did have to note there's some role swaps amongst the Amplify squad. Ewan's going to tank. Solo Zen is going to DPS, and Crazy Cat is going to the flex support. I mean, all 3 of them are support players. Let's be real here. So this might be just a shuffle to say all right, this was not Solo Zen's night to play tank. Let's see if maybe Ewan's got it. Ewan's been really hot on the Zarya though. I'm not on Zarya. Sorry, on the Lucio. So I don't know if I'm crazy about that.
Well, I guess the plans are not up to us, right? We're not going to get a lot of the answers until we get into the game here. We're going to know what we are running out on. I feel like our defenders... Okay. I don't hate that, especially on A and B. We were talking about how strong Zarya is on B and C. I think Winston is just as strong as A and B. Or on A and B. There's a lot of high ground to control, right? And Winston does that very, very well. You want to keep that high ground under control, and with, obviously, I'm not surprised to see it on the side of Amplify either, even if I am a little bit surprised to see who's playing the Winston. You need some way to keep Gromit in check, right? So I don't blame this at all for being almost a mirror.
I do think the interesting one here is Poke Minimi is going to stay on the Lucio, and Liren's going to stay on the Kiriko. You kind of almost really want the Ana for a Winston here, which is why I actually do like the double flex support line here for Amplify a little bit better. It's more vulnerable for consequence, but I kind of really like the value that Nano brings versus something like a sound barrier.
I mean, Grom is still just free shooting and Ewan is dead. This fight's over before it even started. Like, Amplify is kind of running around like a headless chicken.
Look, that was a mistiming though, because Ewan just kind of went, all right, guys, I'm going to take the high ground pressure in. And none of the rest of the team was really kind of there for it, so, you know, a bit of a miscommunication. And for a team like Amplify, who are, again, there's a lot of players on shifting roles, doesn't shock me by any real means, but the Foxtails, again, they're a full force. This looks really composed, and Gromit just has now the angles on the A segment here to really find these shots, so watch it again.
Well, there's dive, counter dive. Ewan is extremely low, able to escape, bubble forced by Boink, but needs that support and just is not getting it. I don't know if it's not there or if it's just not enough, but damn it, is Ewan eviscerating.
I said I like the problem with this line though is that the consequence on the Ana also still needs to maintain sight lines. Ewan's been going a little bit deeper. You can see him kind of pushing into the room, and that puts him out of the sight lines of consequence. Whereas, you know, Liren, you just have to have sights for a minute. Pokey can follow in. It's really kind of a tough comp to make work, but it does offer a lot more high healing. So maybe a little too aggressive from Ewan. Now that ults are starting to come online here as we have 2 minutes, like, it just favors the Foxtails again. Like, Ewan kind of has to play a little bit more passive on these dives.
Well, there's Ewan, and I mean, his teammates are already...
Again, look at this.
His teammates are up there to help, and Solo Zen is just taking this fight, trying to brute force it. I just don't think that's going to work. Not into somebody like Gromit, who is just absolutely shooting at these players like they're
fearless.
lined up in targets. I feel like he's Merida shooting the arrows into the arrows in Brave. Like, Gromit is just on a tear, on a mission. This guy is ridiculous.
Yeah. I'm not sure what the call is from the side of Amplify of who we're trying to dive, but like, the answer is it needs to be Gromit. The answer is like, we need to get on Gromit. We need to force something so that Gromit just does not have these sight lines. We keep trying to push the high ground. I'm not sure if we want to be playing for this. We're at the minute, and it's the last. They're coming to the last fight here. It's a basically even match, and there's the nano onto Ewan. This could be the tide turner.
It's going to be a nano primal. Bit of a primal blade here. You know, Ewan not exactly practice on the juggle mechanics, it would appear. Not surprising in the end, but it does end up getting dealt with swiftly. And speaking of swiftly, swift comp swap from Amplify, the backline.
I mean, we have to go now because we have to do something. We're in 42 seconds. This last fight, we committed most of our ults into this. Solo Zen has an overclock and Winter has a blade. I mean, one of those is going to get canceled by Sound Barrier, and if I had to guess, one of them is probably not going to find value just because we're going to be too busy trying to deal with Boink, so we're going to have to see what happens here. The craziness, the insanity that Boink has made has really done so much work, almost as much defense as the Sound Barrier is going to do here.
All right, well, I mean, Boink is dead. Yeah, I was about to say, Boink is taking so much damage, and Solo Zen, with the overclock in the backline, stuck. Beautiful by Soita.
Wow.
Been a little bit more quiet than their partner, but damn it if that wasn't a beautiful play. Great two-piece. Need to find... Oh my god. Oh my god.
One of them is going to get Sound Barriered, Fletch, and one is going to find no value.
Oh my goodness. Gromit, Soita, and Boink are just... I mean, Boink is jumping into the back line for free every single fight. Trying to counter dive Ewan. Excellent. Right? Yeah. Gromit is free firing and Soita is enabling all of it. Like, it's ridiculous. Right now, Elrin and Pokey don't even need to do anything. Like, they're being a little bit quieter because everybody else is being so loud.
I'm gonna be real, Fletch, for a minute here. If I'm Amplify, let's just move on. Let's just go back. Let's just get through this. Let's maybe get a full hold into a draw. If we you know, let's put our minds to this draw and try to get that. Next round, let's just make another team swap. Try to find someone because Ewan, this is This is just not him for this. Like, this is just not it for him. He's not having a great tank night, and that's okay. I wouldn't expect him to. He's a fantastic support player. He probably could. He's way better at me at Winston than I would ever pretend to be. But this is just not the night for him. So I would think, like, let's just kind of like go next here. Let's just kind of do our best to get a hold and go on, because right now Ewan is getting himself deep into these hard dives that are putting him out of position to get healing, and Boink is just coming in, blocking off the supports, and Gromit is there to follow up and clean it up, whereas like Winter and Solozen really didn't have the ability to kind of, you know, follow up on those dives and create that 2- and 3-man hit squad that they needed to be. Foxtails, they bring out the Ana here, makes total sense to me. Amplify, I don't often see Cassidy with a ball, but I guess that's
I
this is
mean,
the world we live in. I mean, I guess it's defensive.
Wet
I give it
toilet
that.
paper. Wet toilet paper. Trying to get it to stick to the wall.
Look, it's defensive. I like it. I'll take it in that regard. It's a defensive piece to help with Crazy Cat and Consequence. Fine.
All right. Coming in for the attack of Agave Foxtails, and Gromit is finding these cheeky little spots to shoot through these holes in the map geometry, and Winter is actually going to be the one that starts off this fight, and that's, I mean, the hit scans for Amplify coming in here already proving to be effective.
I mean, the other part of me kind of wondered how much of this was, I guess, the positional of it all, right? Like, when you think about, like, who just had the better sight lines to make those shots, it was Gromit.
This is restricted airspace.
Okay.
All right, well, Pokey's
That-
dead.
I mean, that's a great bunch of time. The rest of the Foxtails are here, and that is an exploitable, you know, small group that can be damaged and dove.
Yep, Winston slammed on. Boink going to have to play it safe. You can see Winter a little bit hesitant to wide swing this angle. Doesn't want to get lasered by Gromit. Now, Ewan looking for an opportunity to get another slam in. As the dive going to come through, a nice boop throwing, or rather spiking Boink down onto the point. Going to come right back up to that high ground. You know, not exactly in the healthiest state, but Ewan is dead, and that is a lot gone. Soita is taken care of, though. Gromit needs to find something else here if they want to keep this perfectly comfortable. The overclock going to come in from Winter. Good for one. Okay. Okay, so this is an even fight now, and you can see Crazy Cat, you know, doing that AD strafe, trying to keep this point rolling. Deadeye from Solozen, as well as the Nano Boost. And it will take care of Elrin. Slam comes down, and Amplify keep this fight rolling. But the overclock from Gromit finds one more kill. There is this Ana stuck in the back line, and Consequence will deal with the issue. Winter came back on a Widowmaker. Sure, man.
Yeah.
But it does work out.
Speed. Look, we need to get here faster. We need pick potential. I don't hate it. Considering we're now down to a minute 30, we are looking at a last fight territory, and an easy pick here means that suddenly we are looking at the draw, but there is Primal, there is a Sound Barrier, there's an extra, you know, Pulse Bomb on the field versus the Ewan Mines and Crazy Cat's Sound Barrier. So, I mean, unless Ewan can find something to make happen here with these mines, I'm watching because Boink's going to go Primal. Oh, you're gone. You're gone. That was a decision.
You can't see me, but I'm grimacing at the moment. Boink might die here. Okay, no, it's just fine.
No, it's just fine.
Yeah, that was an ending. I'll give him that much.
Yeah,
I like how Amplify looked at the beginning of that round, but I mean that was rough start to finish. Oh. We gotta watch it again.
It was a boop. It was.
We gotta watch it again. Oh man, that's tough.
High value,
Crazy Cat.
High value play. I mean,
high value play. Hey, yeah, a boop for 1,000 damage. How you feeling about that?
It got value.
It did get value. Rough for Amplify.
Yeah.
Not what we thought.
All right, look. Let's put something out here, Fletch. Like, I hate to say it like this because, I mean, I don't think anything should be undervalued, but is Amplify really in a situation? We kind of looked at this earlier. They're down their tank. Not to say that they're not trying their best, not to say that they don't care, but like if you're Amplify, I don't know if you're like sweating this. This is kind of just like, another match to you in a lot of ways. So
If I'm being
I don't
honest
know.
with you, they do have bigger fish to fry, but
Yeah.
they're not in OWCS right now. They're in CGL. You
Agree.
know, so they just got to fight with, what's
What they
provided to
got.
them, what's in front of them. But for now, we're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, Amplify. They've got one more match or one more map till elimination in this final Agave. They look nigh unstoppable
good.
at the moment. They look very good. So we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll see what Agave has got if they can slam the door in the face of Amplify. All right, welcome back, everybody. Right now, Agave Foxtails on an absolute rip and tear mission. 2-0 over Amplify at the moment. And to be honest with you, Soav, it hasn't felt close the whole time.
Oh yeah, no. We were talking about this in the break. Like the Foxtails came to play. It felt like the Foxtails really came to make a point here in the CGL Open Division that they want to win this. They want that piece, and they want to go home, and they want to see themselves, leading the division down the line versus the teams like Amplify and a lot of these other, teams that are looking to like OWCS and stuff like that. But the Foxtails, like, this is a statement against like an arguable #1 seed in the Foxtails. This is a great way for them to close the door on this, particularly when the DPS line we were talking about them, Gromit and Sobita fan, just absolutely having just an incredible night tonight.
Yeah, I mean, as we get ready to head into map number 3, it's going to be New Queen Street, once again selected by Amplify. It's going to be...
What? Fletch, no one picks this. What are we doing?
Hey, Canada. Canada, man. They got a Timmy's. They got a
They
Timmy's
gotta
pod.
Homa Sojourn, I guess. I don't know, man. This is. I mean, ball
don't
good
know.
here, I guess. Ball good here? Question mark. But I mean, ball get banned probably though, because we saw Ewan like looking really well on that ball, like towards the end of Blizzard World. So if that isn't like an immediate like let's just cripple the plan here, like that.
You know what?
Is
Amplify have an opportunity to put a
do
shield
something
up.
funny. They do.
They have an opportunity to put a shield up, like ban Doomfist.
Just
Keep
make a
them from
statement.
banning Wrecking Ball. Keep them from banning
Yeah.
Wrecking Ball.
Oh, good point.
That's
No, they're gonna take like Sojourn or something. They're gonna take something that they think they're actually like.
No.
I think you do just take Sojourn because like what else do you take from them
At
here?
this point, it's going to be like Junkrat. I wouldn't be surprised at all.
I mean, yeah, like you could throw it away, but like in the seriousness, like you kind of have to take Sojourn. I just feel like that has been like just crippling you all day today. I think you just kind of have to.
Okay.
Okay, sure, fine,
Yeah,
whatever.
I mean, it's just putting up the
Sure.
shield, I guess. It has to,
Yeah.
right? That has to be
Yeah,
the whole reason.
fine.
Tactically, I understand it. I agree with you. I feel like Grommet has been a major pain point. Now, what I do like is that for as, decent as Blizzard World is for Zarya, I feel like it's just that much better on New Queen Street. Very,
Yeah.
very flat for the most part, with the exception of the 2 high grounds that are, that are prevalent.
Take
And
Tracer here.
To be honest with you, I think Grommet is going to be fine, no matter
Grommet's fine.
no matter what
Yeah.
they do. They're just going to need to hard focus Grommet at this point. If what we're assuming is right, because a lot of our assumptions have been way off base tonight, frankly.
I mean,
So
yeah, that's true. I mean, the real comedy play is Ana. That's actually what I was about to say. Is the real comedy play is take the Ana, because if you know they're gonna play Winston, and Winston's really dependent on the burst healing of Ana. You know what? It cripples you, but it also kind of does take away something that Consequence was doing very well, which was playing the Ana in a manner to try to keep Ewan up. If Ewan doesn't have that healing, be it on Ball, be it on a Winston, that really makes it harder for them to get going. So I actually don't hate the Ana ban, though it is pretty comical. No role swaps this time. This seems like the closest to the comp they're going to be, and that's fine. That's just fine, Fletch. I'm fine with this.
to be honest with you, I don't think that anything else they could cobble.
Yeah, I don't think it
together
would matter.
will. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's this is the best that they've got. Sometimes that just is what it is, right? So we did see a little bit more fight out of Amplify near the end of Blizzard World. Unfortunately, you'll notice it was
Way too
a
late,
little
yeah.
bit too late to start fighting back. But series still isn't over, right? There's a reason that we play out all 3 maps. All 3 losses or wins or any of that. Anything can happen. We've seen reverse sweeps. It's not unthinkable. Yeah, I would say that it would be surprising.
Oh, please roll out on the Moira. Please roll out on the Moira. Let's just go full
Hey,
let's just
that's
go full chaos.
Absolutely
Let's just do
balls
it.
to the wall for
Let's
sure.
just do it. Let's just
Wrecking
do
ball
it.
to
We're
the
at this
wall,
point.
baby.
Yeah, I don't even hate that because it gives you a little bit of mobility, and gosh forbid they go for like a Sombra. Like, fine.
They are.
Yeah, like Sombra Genji, you still are good against that. Like Grommet Sombra is interesting. I mean, like we kind of talked about this, the Sojourn's not the greatest here. This is a place where like double flankers really win, and solos, and hence why like Solo Zen is fine playing Cassidy, try to shut down the flankers. But I still think Grommet's gonna do a ton of work when you look at how Boink is just diving.
Yeah, Boink going in, Hack is out, and Jesus, Winter just absolutely eats asphalt. Oh,
Yeah.
it just melted by Boink and friends, and yeah,
I think
you're just
Innosos-
seeing this Wrecking Ball
Wow.
trying to get away, but the Sombra just there to put a stop to that immediately.
All right, real talk, Fletch. Grommet has the ability to do something incredible here down the road, and that's White Hat Sombra. And I don't think it's gonna happen, but it would still be funny
What is that?
if that were to happen. That's the Sombra can hack the teammates to heal.
Yeah, all right.
I don't think that's going to happen, but it would be hecka
It'd be
funny
so
if that would be
BM.
the case.
It'd be so BM.
That'd be so good. So good. I mean, it kind of just, you have to put Solo Zen on Boink duty. Like, Solo Zen just needs to be like on him. Just needs to make sure that Boink does not get this free reign.
Boink, Soida, and Grommet, they all need to be watched for by.
What on earth? Oh goodness. The dives are clean. Look, Foxtail's dives are incredibly clean.
I mean, they're playing this as this is as clean as you can get.
This is clean. This is perfect. They cannot do it better. They are swarming so well from different angles. Like, and I mean, Ewan's just gonna go ahead and go to the Ramatra. I don't hate that. Yeah, you're not winning the dive. Don't take the mirror. I don't hate that. EMP's coming online. Sound barrier's online. I mean, Amplify's just behind in the ultimate fight, so Foxtails should just be able to keep this rolling.
All right, well,
Okay,
that's what they needed. That's the opening they needed.
That's
Boink
huge.
goes down, so this will just be a mission about dying on the point, potentially? Everybody's just in the back line right now, so, I mean, the bot's just going to move for free.
Okay.
This is
the map here.
Yeah, this is very, very interesting. Boink is already back on the point. Okay, so now it's a pincer attack, and I hate this less now.
Yeah.
We're going to see the Kitsune rush out from Elren as well as the EMP. Solozin goes down. Grommet going to meet their maker as well, and what a beautiful health pack steal there by Boink. The Coalescence in the box there. Boink less than 200 HP, able to get away, but Elren not so lucky. Gonna need something here. Sound barrier down for 3 players. Boink does have this Primal Rage ready to go for that extra get out of jail free card, but consequence, Moira does not have the same ability.
No. I mean, still, just great recognition from the Foxtails to go ahead.
Oh, well,
What on earth?
well.
I mean, hey, Boink is. Let's be real here. I understand now why we first got rid of the Winston, because Boink on Winston has been an absolute phenom. Has absolutely been dominating and controlling this game since Blizzard World. Since the Winston got unbanned, Boink has been an absolute monster to this Amplify backline, and it has been so difficult. Remember, they Amplify looked their best when Winston was banned.
All right, back across the checkpoint there. Boink.
What are we doing?
Okay. Hey, that works out. I mean, I was questioning it too at the beginning. The reinforcements came there to help out. They knew that Boink could not get away from that engagement. Will respawn with close spawns. Unfortunately, Amplify could not get that back across the center of the map, so they're just going to back off and regroup because they know they've got a favorable fight.
Yeah, and again, the dive will come in very quickly. They get the recall out of Soida fan, and that is huge. Amplify, Ewan's got this. Okay, that's huge. That's huge.
Yeah, no, this is what they needed.
That's
Winner
good.
and Ewan finding one each. The bot is going for a bit of a walk, but I mean, that's less impactful than what Amplify was doing before with the bot. So they're not too sweating that. But yeah, they needed that.
Yeah, I'm gonna say the other thing I wanna shout out here is the Ramatra perk that is going on there. I do really love the choice of the Void Surge, because it does give you a lot more anti-Winston dive. Like, that's a lot of pressure. You're basically now a shotgun hero, so it really does put the pressure onto Boink.
How does that sound barrier hit 5 players?
Wow.
How does that hit
That's
5 players? That's crazy. And yeah, I mean, because that sound barrier was just so large, there's just nothing Amplify could do. They engage with that beat, and it's just over.
I mean, you simply are just, again, and Amplify have been struggling whenever the Foxtails are 2 or 3 players on them. They cannot escape that hit squad when the dive comes in. EMP plus a Kitsune rush, and we have a pause. That might be a disconnect, it looks like. We'll have to see where that takes us. But, I mean, EMP kind of tends to be, in a lot of cases, a press Q to go back to spawn and maybe trade a kill. Looking across to like High Noon and Coalescence, though, looks a lot more effective considering how Grommet has been playing.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Amplify, you have to know this EMP is coming. right?
Yeah, you have to.
I mean, it has been a while since Gromit used EMP last. Built it up incredibly quickly in those first couple of fights. It's been 3 minutes since the last EMP, so it's there, guys. Spoiler alert.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you're looking at it. Crazy Cat 75% to the sound barrier. You need it. You need it badly.
Yeah.
It needs to come up. You would hope before the EMP. I doubt it though. That's going to be, you're going to be hard pressed to get 25% before Gromit gets ready. But
not
if
impossible, just unlikely.
It's not impossible. It's not impossible. Yeah. What I'm getting at though is that Crazy Cat has got to play incredibly safe because that sound barrier is going to be such a big player in if Amplify can keep this above board, right? The Coalescence, the Deadeye, you talked about it. EMP shuts both of them down.
Yeah.
So it, basically throw them out. Those ultimates are useless unless Consequence can fade out of it. That's very hard to do. EMP has a very short cast time. But if I am Crazy Cat, I have to be planning and trying to think about what I'm going to do because that skull on the other side is always a scary sight.
It's tough if you're Amplify because of how the Foxtails have just been a full-tuned machine. We were kind of talking about how dangerous their dives have been, where suddenly 3 or 4 of them are just on any Amplify member at any given point in time. All it takes is a second. And with how spread out Amplify have been playing, it's been very easy for the Foxtails to kind of just make sure they call out the same target, all hit their mobility and go. The hack comes in from Gromit, and suddenly everybody is there within that 1 second to make sure they capitalize on it. It's just like dive is not an easy comp to make work at this level. Even like you're an open division here, but even at this level, it is a very, very good execution of what dive should look like.
I can't really find anything wrong with it, really.
Yeah, it's
what I will say though is that I do like what Amplify is doing to try and counter it. I do think bunkering up and playing more together is going to help, and it has helped this game. While it is still in the favor of Agave Foxtails as easily the closest of the 3 maps that we've seen so far, I think Solo Zen is going to be a big player in that. Flashbang, not exactly what it used to be, right? It's not that full stun anymore, but it is still an effective deterrent at dealing with Tracer, with Sombra. They can't use their movement abilities. Slows down Winston. It is I've liked the adaptations from Amplify. They're a little bit more mobile and they're a little bit more stacked on top of each other. Still though, need to see some big plays if we are going to be able to go to a map number 4.
I mean, we did have the unpause. Looks like there's been a bit of some struggles on there. I was gonna say if we had a little bit more time, it's interesting to see why we didn't see the Torbjorn, but there is everything out.
Yeah, there's the Deadeye. Could find one. Could find one. Will find one. EMP hits 5, but Boink is dead. Gromit, it's just being flipped on its head. Soida, very low, very lucky that health pack gets right back into play there. Just the right time. Crazy Cat would be very lucky to get away alive here. And even with the death of Boink, even with the death of, I think it was Gromit, or Elrin rather, that was a beautiful fight.
That was huge. The fact that it hit all 5 and the slight, gains of time in EMP really did a lot because, again, the follow-up was there. The reason Sombras tend to die is because there's no follow-up, but the Foxtails have been so strong about follow-up.
Oh,
and the triple pulse bomb, excuse me!
Served up on a silver platter, Soida goes for 4, and Winter, full 3-course meal served up by Soida on the platter from Winter to the rest of Amplify. What is happening?
I mean, the Foxtails want to close it out. They're done. They want to make their statement, and they want to get the completed push. It's still 3 minutes, but they are making their point here.
Okay, sound barrier down from Pokey Mini-Me. Sound barrier out from Crazy Cat. You see Gromit no longer on the Sombra, so not too worried about that one here. Soida just kind of standing there taking the damage, able to get away though. Winter needs to find something here with these shots. This overclock, a little bit of damage into Soweto, forces the recall out. Okay, Winter decided it's their turn to play the game. Oh my god, a 3-piece for Winter.
Wow. 4? Full 5?
5? No.
Oh,
Okay.
crazy cat.
Okay. Yeah.
All
Good play, Winter.
right.
Do
yeah,
it
well
more.
played. Yeah, more of that, please.
This is
We need to
dangerous.
see more. Yeah, I mean, the swaps come in now for the Foxtails. They're just going to go into an Orisa to match. I guess it's just to get against the stability. You have a couple hard counters, but point goes down immediately, even with that Kitsune.
Yeah, the Kitsune rush, not exactly where they were fighting at. And especially now that Soweto is dead as well, Amplify are going to break into the back half of this map with a very, very interesting comp, but it seems to be working.
Well, it's remnants of the like anti-dive comp here, but it still works because you have these big health targets. Orisa, now Mauga, they are still these big chunky targets that you can just hack away at.
Well, there is the overclock. Consequence almost with the, beautiful trade, y'all. Excellent there. Now we're going to see the Coalescence out from Consequence, and Grommet does fall in the during the time it took there. We'll be able to burn down Poke Mini-Me as well. Consequence getting very, very aggressive.
Oh, come on,
and,
man. You can't do that.
Just holding W and M1 is hee boink.
I get it. We're trying to keep the bot in a position to not go. Like, this is the closest Amplify has to bot control here at the last minute mark, and with Solo Zen and Ewan going dangerously low, like, they really have to find something here. Winter kind of has to make miracles happen again here with this overclock.
Well, here's the sound barrier. Need to find something here. The Kitsune Rush is the answer to the sound barrier. Usually, it's vice versa there.
I mean,
With
Winter
Winter
dies
going
with it.
down, yeah, that's gonna be rough. The cage jacks! The cage jacks! No way! Okay, well, Hee Boink is dead. Sound barrier down, but I mean, Hee Boink has got the most deaths on the team, and it just doesn't matter. Everybody else is doing everything. They unlocked a checkpoint, but what's it all gonna be for?
I mean, they're still behind 30 meters, Fletch, and 30 seconds on the clock, and not really having bot control means that Amplify have 2 ultimates to win at least 2 to 3 fights if they even want to make it back to even. I mean, you cannot afford to really overcommit on ultimates here, and Sofita is looking. There's another pulse bomb. It's tasty.
Okay, the pulse bomb. Unfortunately, you know, a little bit of food poisoning from that pulse bomb before. Winter on the flank does end up taking down Elrin, the Annihilation as well. That Annihilation going to go away very, very quickly, but it does do some damage, and it gets Amplify the opportunity to finally get past this this checkpoint.
The moving field always gets me. It really just does, Fletch. All right, they did the hard part. They needed a chain of fight win. They have not really done this yet, and it's Grommet has an overclock up. Grommet has been deadly with these things, so with the right angle, Grommet closes this out.
There is the Coalescence as the answer. Not the most defensive ultimate, and Winter cannot take advantage of it at all. Grommet only has 90 HP though, and the Death Blossom is out!
No shot.
Amplify
No
are
shot.
doing it! They are rolling it towards that golden line! Hee Boink runs away, gets a mega health pack, and with, I mean, everyone is dead, and this Tracer does no longer have the recall. There will be an overrun here from Hee Boink. Gets in there, needs to build up to this cage fight if they want the best chance that they can possibly have. Solozen getting the healing from their teammates. Crazy Cat drops the sound barrier, and even with the sound barrier, Ewan just doesn't exist.
Melts.
That cage fight comes up, and yeah, you hear it ringing in the background. Agave Foxtails come in. They dominate our representative from the Overwatch Champion Series. 3-0, and that was the closest map that we had, and even that, you know, was a little bit inflated.
I mean, yeah, it really took till the back half of the game. It really wasn't until actually Winter hit this 3-piece that it really kind of started to go their way. Amplify just really kind of, you know, couldn't get their footing. It was their pick to go over here to New Queen Street, and it seemed like they had the plans in motion to kind of balance this out, but overall, the Foxtails just looked dominant. It seemed like they knew exactly where they wanted to set up all these fights, how they wanted to take them, and the communication was so on par. A well-deserved grand finals victory from them. They just absolutely dominated this series.
It was theirs to lose from map 1, right? They did end up losing that first sub map, but I mean, after that, there was never a time where it felt like Agaves were on the back foot. There were some times where they slowed down a little bit. Unfortunately, with as much momentum as Agave had, in built throughout this series, slowing them down just is not enough, right?
Nope.
And on those back 2 maps, on Blizzard World, on New Queen Street, Amplify looked competent, but at the very end. You can't consistently win games by looking competent only at the very end. Sometimes you'll get an outlier win, right? Where you played, not your best, and then, you start popping off at the end and it gets you the clutch win. That's not reliable. And we saw why that is today, right? Because we know how good Amplify is, how good they can be, what they've done, their accomplishments. Doesn't matter in the end if you can't get the job done. Doesn't matter what level you're at, OWCS, CGL, you're here to compete. And today Agave, they just competed better.
They just wanted it more. They were more head in the game, and they were more willing to fight to secure those extra map points. Like, it goes to show you that the competition here in CGL, there is no respect for, if you happen to be in an OWCS or if you are a former OWL player. You are the same competitor that's fighting in the same place as they are. And these players, especially for a team like the Agave Foxtails, who have been in CGL, who have played for years, they're not afraid to humble you if that's the case.
Yep. Great job to the Agave Foxtails. Incredible. Even 3-0 over Amplify. We're going to grab a quick break here. When we come back, though, we'll get to talk to one of our Agave Foxtails representatives. Maybe no information on that yet. We'll
find
keep
out.
you posted. We'll cut to a short break. We'll let you know when we come back, and if we don't have one, we'll let you know that. All right, welcome back, everybody. We've got our representative from the champion, Agave Foxtails. Hee boink. Getting the win here today over Amplify. My first question, my biggest question right now, is that the series that y'all expected, from yourselves, from Amplify? How are y'all feeling about how that series progressed?
That's not the series we wanted at all. Honestly, we really wanted to go against their full roster and see how we stacked up against them and just have a really good match. We were a little disappointed that Gap couldn't make it, but we were still happy to play against their roster.
Yeah, I mean, things happen, and unfortunately, it's just the way it is, as we learned when it came to Blizzard servers. I mean, I want to talk about it because I have nothing but high praise for your Winston play. I mean, it was noticeable, I think, when that first ban came out of Winston. How much different did the team, work together? How much different was it knowing that that Winston was the initial ban on Control? Because it seemed like the team just struggled a little bit when you weren't dominating on the Winston.
Yeah, we are kind of a Winston centered team on dive mainly, just because I think Winston's just about basically the best dive tank next to Hazard, and that Hazard's always banned. So, it honestly took me a surprise to see Winston banned because I haven't seen a Winston ban once, honestly.
Yeah, really.
I see him played everywhere.
Yeah.
So
I think that was just an Ilios centric ban for sure.
Yeah. I tried my hand at Diva and it was not the most pretty Diva I've ever done.
Hey, we make it work though.
Yeah.
All right. I have one more big question. I love watching you get, Agave Foxtails in general, but
yeah,
as the tank of the group, I think it is so fun to watch you just press W and not do anything. My question is, can we expect that for the rest of the season?
Honestly, no. I'm looking to change up my playstyle a little bit because it is a little easy to kind of counter, honestly.
Yeah.
On a lot of my tanks, I've learned to face mash a little bit too much. I'm looking to change up playstyle completely and look to kind of change up the hero pool as best as I can to more of proper hits and flowing tanks like Ball.
I mean, I'm excited to see what you all end up with then, because if your Winston play today has been any sort of indication of what you can do with other heroes, I'm excited to see you come the later playoff tournaments. But before we let you go back to the team to celebrate, replan, and get ready for the coming weeks, anyone you want to shout out? Any thanks or anything you want to say to anybody out there?
I want to say thank you to Aspect to helping us coach us, and for Kai for being a schizophrenic little tracer player, just doing the most weird and odd stuff that just works because it's a tracer player.
Yeah. Amen. Amen, man.
All right. Well, Boink, thank you for coming to talk to us here tonight. Once again, congratulations on winning that mid-season tournament. And we look forward to seeing what you and Foxtails have got in the back half of the season.
Thank you so much.
All right. So, I mean, start to finish, not what I expected, not what I came in here expecting at all.
Yeah.
But I'm not upset because I think this just means that there's more competitors in this tier than I really even could have imagined, right? Because the Foxtails, to be honest with you, I saw how good they were earlier this season. They weren't even on my radar, right? For getting to the grand finals, let alone winning it like they did. So it makes me very, very happy to see these other newer less known teams flourishing, right? And especially beating a team with some big names, right? Even if they weren't at full power, that is still a team of Amplify that has got some hitters on it, right? They
Oh, yeah.
are still very, very talented players, even if they didn't really show up tonight. That you can't take away what Agave Foxtails did here, even still.
No, I mean the Foxtails 100% fought and earned it, even though like Blink said, like I think we all kind of hoped and expected a different game. I know Amplify, they would have loved to have had a full squad going into this themselves. Gap, unfortunately, just unable to be there really does hurt. So you know what? Why don't, Fletch, we go ahead and cleanse our sadness of a game that could have been with a game that we've got going on right now?
Yep. As we talked about before the match started, there is another final going on tonight. Solar Eclipse versus Cuddle Puddle in the NA Diamond tier. 1-0 for Solar Eclipse to start off that series. If we go ahead and look over here. Okay. So they're just now getting to the end of that series. We had spoilers on our side. We're 3 minutes. We're 3 minutes ahead of y'all. Just to give you a peek back in there. Yeah, well, even if we do have the delay, right? But still, currently 1-0 in favor of Solar Eclipse. You know what? I'm looking forward to seeing what the rest of this season is going to hold. Not just in the open tier, but overall here in CGL. I think that this season shaping up to be a great one.
Oh yeah, this is every season it continues to grow here in CGL, whether we're adding a whole other continent in South America or whether we're adding new teams that are looking just for a place to put their tests. Like, yeah, like it just continues to grow and just get better.
Like you look at the teams in the open tiers, all 4 tiers from last season, they're the Grand Finals champion of all 4 tiers last season are not here.
Yeah.
They are not competing.
They're just straight up not here.
They're just gone. So I mean, it just gives the room for all these new teams, all these new players to shine and grow, and that is excellent. But for now, it's time for us to do the opposite. It's time for us to turn the lights off here on CGL 1. CGL 2 still going strong. We are going to send a raid over to CGL 2 for Solar Eclipse Cuddle Puddle, brought to you by Dexatron and Try Hard Array. Thank you all for watching, and we will see y'all in the back half of CGL Season 15.